these are the 3 things that are stopping you from having 100K a month. Okay? 3 things. They're big topics, but everyone wants to make 100K in a month. Why are you not doing it? Simple question, okay? So I'm going to give you the 3 things that I think are really holding everyone back when they're not quite hitting those numbers. So the first one, and probably the most important one, and don't roll your eyes when I tell you what this is. Do not think, that's so wishy-washy, because it's not. And let me explain. So listen to it, let it soak in, and then I'm going to explain, okay? So the first one is the belief that you can do 100K in a month. Let me say that again. The first item for what is stopping you from making 100K in a month is your belief. Do you believe you can do 100K in a month? Let me test that even further, okay? Ask yourself, have you done 100K in a month before? If the answer is yes, then my next question to you is, can you do it again? The answer is probably going to be yes. So if you've done it before, you can do it again. So your belief is probably a little bit easier, right? It's probably already there somewhat, but also worth reminding yourself that you've done it before. If the answer is no, if the answer is I've never done 100K before, I'm telling you now, you don't believe you can do it. There's a part of you that says, I haven't done it before, therefore it's going to be very challenging. Maybe you're overly confident, I can do 100K in a month. You got to ask yourself, why have you not done it before? So what I tend to do with people who haven't hit a certain number before in a certain time frame, I don't lower the number. We want to build in your mind a belief that you can do 100K, okay? Let's start by pushing out the time frame. So now let me ask you this. How long would it take for you to make 100K? How long would it take? Is it 2 months? Would it take you 2 months to do that? Does that start to feel a bit more comfortable? Yeah, I've done 50 and 50. Have you done 50 and 50 before? 50 in month 1, 50 in month 2. If the answer is yes, you get my drift. Work out what that is. At what time frame would you be able to say, I have done that before, I've done 100K in that time frame before? And what we're going to do is in terms of building that belief, is that you say, cool, I've done 100K in 2 months, I can do it again. And what we do when you start planning out this period, you're going to say, I'm not going to do it in 8 weeks, 4 weeks and 4 weeks. I know it's roughly higher or lower either side. We're going to do it in 7 weeks. So rather than 8 weeks, we're going to do it in 7 weeks or 6 weeks. We're going to try and just squash the time frame a little bit, but we're going to keep that 100K target there. We want to try and build on your belief system that you can do 100K, because you can. If you're in recruitment, you've been here for a year or two, you've done 100K over the course of a year at some point, right? So we just need to shorten those time frames. That's it. It's simple. If you've made one deal in recruitment, you can make 1,000. If you've done a deal, congratulations, you know how to recruit. That's it, okay? You might need to hone those skills and refine them or whatever, but you get my drift. So that's the first thing. Do you believe that you can actually do 100K in a month? And I've just given you a protocol for if yes, great, tick. If no, here's what we do to build that belief up. The second thing that is stopping you from making 100K in a month in recruitment is analysis paralysis, or in other words, overthinking, okay? Too often, people plan, and then they plan again, they second guess themselves, they overthink. Before you know it, you're halfway through the month. I've done that before. When you're not clear, when you're not effective at planning, that's when you fall into these traps, because you're not confident on your decision, or you're not maybe confident on your plan. Okay, so spend the time up front. I'm going to put aside a good 3 hours, 4 hours, go for a walk. Really think about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it in the course of a month. And do that on the first day of the month. And then go. Just heads down and go. Don't second guess yourself until Friday afternoon. Give yourself an entire week of activities. Get yourself an entire week of setting yourself up. Give yourself an entire week of generating, interviewing, processing, getting interviews, and then see if it's working. Because you get to the end of the week, then you can look at actual data and go, okay, we're on track. This is working. Or you get to the end of the week and go, we're not on track. This is not working. I do need to make a plan for Monday. Okay? But don't do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because what are you basing your plans and your decisions on? Because you're distracting yourself. Because when you're using that executive function of the brain, you're not able to apply it to deal making. And we all know that when we get distracted, when we overthink on strategies, we have too many internal meetings, or you got to do too many podcasts on a day, or you've got too many whatevers. When it comes to actually doing the recruiting part, you're fried. Your brain's gone. So set a plan, deliver the plan for a week, and then review it. That's how we do it. Okay, so stop overthinking. Stop getting analysis by paralysis. You just can't do anything because you keep getting paralyzed by overthinking, overanalyzing. And there'll be people here laughing, going, "Yeah, that's me. That's me." Just set your boundaries on planning. Okay, so that's number 2. And look, the third thing I think is stopping you from a 100K month beyond the belief, beyond the planning and the analysis paralysis. The third one for me is actual deal control. Now, that's a big topic, okay? But deal control and a certain metrics within that are probably what's holding you back. So I'm going to give you a little checklist of things that you should be doing as absolute reflex to in terms of deal control that will help you nudge in the right direction, or go a little bit deeper on what you might need to sharpen up on. So, for example, the first one for me in terms of deal control is client responsiveness. It's all very well and good to say, I'm going to make all these placements, get all these interviews, whatever. But if your clients don't want to listen to you, they don't pick up the phone, they're not in the same time frame as you, if you are not aligned with your clients in terms of what we're trying to achieve in this month, you won't hit it. You won't achieve it. And you know that, right? You know those clients who are like, oh, I love this client. They're desperate. They're keen. We're locked in. That energy. It's like, we're going to get this done in a week. You want that energy, right? You don't want that energy of you jamming CVs in, you pushing the client uphill. You know they're not ready to make a decision. And they're saying to you, oh, look, we need to wait till the end of financial year because of budget, whatever. And you're working on this shit thinking you're going to make a deal this month with them. You're kidding yourself, right? So client responsiveness. Are they helping? Or are they hindering? That's a big part of deal control, honestly. Once you've got the client pushing you and coming to you and screaming to you because you've set an agenda and a tone and whatever, and you're locked in, that's what you want, man. That's what you want. Second one is pace of the deal. Like how quick can you make these deals? Have you got a process that's really long-winded? Like, are you doing mining or something where they do a first chat over the phone, then they've got to fly to site and it's another 2 months and it's a fully elongated process? If you are in a market like that, it seriously is going to be hard for you to do 100K months from a standing start. They're the sort of markets where you have to build them up over time and just keep the bottom of the funnel going. But the pace of the deal. So let's bring that back to something more practical, irrespective of what market you're in. We used to have this thing called, when you're asking to lock in an interview and a client says, yes, I want to meet that person, do not ask them when. When do you want to see them? Because when you ask them when, you're giving them control over the timeframes. When you say to them, great, they're available this afternoon at 3 o'clock or tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., which one suits you best? You are now getting an interview happening in the next 12 hours, okay? And that's my point. Pace of the deal is actually within your control. You just need to know how to do it and be okay with being a bit assertive. We all know that time kills deals, okay? But an actual interview process at the best of times is we interview them, they interview with the client, they might have a second interview, and then their offer acceptance. That's about 3 hours worth of actual activity. But sometimes we let it stretch out over a month, 2 months, 3 months. Why? Because we have not got deal control, okay? So that's the second one. I think the third, in terms of deal control, I know that if I've given my candidates choice, i.e. 2 or 3 options to interview with, and same with my clients, if I've given them choice, 2 or 3 candidates, they're going to choose from the ones here. They're not going to be thinking, oh, I've interviewed a person. Is there anyone else out there? When they say, is there anyone else out there, you haven't done your job. And I'm not saying put shit candidates in. I'd say put 3 viable candidates in and manage it that way. Because when there's 3 viable candidates, you might have a preference and a second and third preference with the client and just keep saying to them, rank them. They're all going to be able to do this job. Just put them in 1, 2, 3 so that if any of these people drop out and they go to another option or they pull out of the process or whatever, we are left with someone that we're happy with. Okay, so again, choice to the client, choice to the candidate. Obvious one in deal control is priming or prepping your clients, prepping your candidates for every meeting that they have, making sure that they are prepared, making sure if they've got any questions to ask, you've pulled them out and they're ready to ask them. always be closing, of course, right? So that's what prep is. It's for running any problems you might see occurring in an interview or any question marks that the candidate might have. Let's give them to the client to prepare, all that sort of stuff. Prepping and priming is absolutely essential for deal control. And then when it comes to closing deals themselves, there's nothing worse than handing a contract to a candidate to sign, and then they take a week to do it, because it's a very high risk week, right? So the whole pre-close, we all know what a pre-close is. Like, if we were to get you, is there anything preventing you accepting an offer? If we get X, Y, Z, are you happy for me to accept on your behalf? Yes, no. Okay, so what's preventing you accepting this? Or yes, you can go and accept on my behalf. Fantastic. So what that means is, if I get on the phone and it's this or above, and by all means, I'm going to push this for you because it's in my best interest, yada, yada, yada. We're accepting it on your behalf. Job's done. Other candidates are told to go away. I'll send you an email confirming that you're accepting this verbal offer. Yes. Cool. We're on the same page. Boom. Then you've closed it. And in their mind, it's done. It's not going to unravel. I mean, it could from there, but you get my point. So that's it. The 3 things stopping you from making 100K month: belief you can do 100K in a month. 2, analysis paralysis. And 3, your overall deal control. If you can nail those 3 elements, you're making money. I'm telling you now, you're making money. So get out of the way, get this stuff done, and just let the deals flow. Like, share, subscribe. It helps us grow. As always, have an amazing day, and may all your deals and your 100K months come true.